Madness, where every car has a story. If you love rat rods, street rods, American classic muscle, even the unusual, including those ground-pounding, tire-smoking street machines, we got them. Fire them up, Hot Rod Madness style, with your host, Tim the Milkman, along with the Hot Rod Madness crew. Welcome to Hot Rod Madness. About 40 miles east of Atlanta lies the beautiful historic town of Monroe, Georgia. Let's go with Tim the Milkman as he makes his own memories at the 13th annual Memories in Monroe Classic Car Show.
Cindy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, I'm great. I'm at a car show.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at a Willys here, and I understand you're the owner of it now, right?
I am. My husband and I own it.
Okay.
It's been in our family since about 1982.
Wow. Looks perfectly restored.
It was restored within the last year,
yeah,
yes.
See, I can tell. This thing's like brand new.
It's beautiful.
Wow, it is beautiful. Gorgeous. And what year is it?
It's a 1962.
62.
Willys Pickup.
It's got the original engine and all that?
Original Hurricane 6, yes.
Okay. And 3-speed, perhaps? And,
3-speed, overdrive, high and low,
yeah.
4-wheel drive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you wanted to, you could go mudding in it, go anywhere you wanted.
I've been mudding in it back in the day, yes.
Yeah, I guess if it's been in your family that long, yeah, you're going to use it, right?
It is. My older brother purchased it in about 82 in order to fix it up and go four-wheeling in it, because that was his thing. And unfortunately, he passed in 85 from the flu.
Wow. Okay.
So my dad always kept it and kept it running and used it, and just never took the time to restore it.
Yeah.
You know, there were always other things.
Well, it sat around for a few years.
It sat around, and
one day Cindy says, "Hey,
it's
time to get this.
You're downsizing. What are you gonna do?" So he shipped it out from California.
Yeah. Okay.
And we hung on to it and put it in the barn and tried to figure out what we were going to do with it. And all of a sudden, my husband got a wild hair that...
Yeah, and this is what you did with it.
He and Big Jim were going to restore
it. Out. Wow, look at that interior, would you?
It's beautiful.
Man, amazing, right?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep, and those shift knobs there are original from my brother, so we had to leave those on there.
Oh, sure, you got to leave that in there. Yep, that's pretty neat.
It is.
Even back then, man, the styling and everything, yeah.
Yep, it's classic. And you don't see many of them.
No, you don't see a whole lot of them. No. You know, and if you do, somebody's done cut them up and hot rodded them out and, you know, made whatever out of them, you know. So it is pretty cool that you guys kept it all original and kept that thing going.
It made it pretty again.
Let's look at the engine. Because, you know, the motor looks brand new. Wow, that's original engine. I'm sure you had it rebuilt, though, right?
Yes, yep. Yeah. Big Jim rebuilt it for us.
Okay. Probably runs smooth as silk.
It's beautiful. You know, when I talked to my dad about it, he said, "Well, Sin, John just went through that engine in '83."
Wow. Okay.
But we went through it again to make sure it was all running.
Got the old generator still on it. Cool.
Yep.
External stuff going on there. Wow, what a beautiful ride. Cindy, we appreciate you keeping the car alive. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
John, how are you, man?
Oh, good. You?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
We're out here looking at some very unique vehicles, I would say. And Chevrolet Plymouth, what is this?
It's got a Chevrolet running gear. It's a 29 Plymouth.
29 Plymouth.
Yeah.
Wow.
It runs out good. Got a quick change rear end in it.
Yeah.
2-speed power glide.
Wow.
And the more rust, the better. That's what they.
I guess so. There's quite a few of these, you know, at the shows that I go to nowadays, and that's what they all say. The more rust, the better.
Yeah. Me and a couple buddies of mine. A couple of them put it together, and I put a few touches on it, but we run dirt. So you see a lot of the rear end and a lot of the stuff that's on it from the dirt car, you know, you can tell it come off dirt stuff. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It turns heads everywhere you go.
How old are them valve covers, man?
Oh, man, I don't know. They're probably not old as me, but they're getting there.
They look aged. Now, did you purposely age any of this, or is that how you found it?
We let it set out. We don't actually keep it inside, keep it in a fence so it can rust.
Yep.
And you know, a guy come by a while ago. He said everything that ain't rusty is straight paneling. So I'm like, well, that's kind of the purpose of it.
Yep, I guess so.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of the guys, they'll make their own exhaust. They'll make all these weird-looking bug catchers. You bought one. It looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
What about this hood emblem, man?
That's a cowboy. The guy that I actually bought the car from.
Yeah.
He's known as Cowboy. His name's Kevin Manders.
Okay.
And he took this thing all over. They drove it to Dahlonega. I mean, it drives. You can drive it anywhere. That's his little logo.
Yeah, that's a cowboy with a lasso made out of horseshoes.
Right.
Okay. And this episode of Hot Rod Madness is brought to you by Flynn'sWax.com. Before you leave for the next car show, polish your ride with Flynn's. You can win with Flynn.
At Flynn'sWax.com.
Terrell, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine.
All right. What year is this thing, man?
This is a 1948. It's an Allard L. It's one of 7 in the United States.
Wow.
It's there's 19 of them worldwide that we know of.
No kidding.
So a little bit rare.
Yeah.
Allard, it was his own company. That was the name of the company, is Allard Motor Company. They built about 1,900 cars. Most of them are racing models that you would know by the motorcycle fenders and this kind of thing, all out racing models.
Right.
This one they built, didn't build but 191 of them to begin with, 46 and 47 and 48, because basically it was a flop. I mean, the racing models is what they're known for, and the street model just didn't go over that well.
So Allard, where are they out of? I mean, where are they?
English.
English?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gotcha.
It's,
I mean, it does say European all over it, but you know, it's
well, it's all old Ford parts, though. It's all Ford. You can go to Napa and get parts. It's a flathead Ford V8. Okay, that was built worldwide. But I tell you, the closest thing it would be if you got a 39 Ford and put another body on it, it'd be almost exactly this car.
Yeah. Interesting, man. I've never seen one, you know. Well, it's always cool to see these cars come out of the woodwork, stuff you've never seen or heard of.
Read the little thing here.
Allard with the flathead Ford in it. Yeah, he's got documentation here. Yeah.
For many years, this car was owned by U.S. Air Force Brigadier General Frank Savage, a World War II hero who was popularizing the firm 12 O'Clock High.
There we go.
So he was the owner of the car. It had nothing to do with the movie, but Gregory Peck played this.
Okay, interesting. Man, so you never know what you'll find at these hometown cruise-ins, man. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Barney wishes he had one like this. All right, Dollar Bill, check out this tea bucket here. Howdy, young lady. Is this your ride?
No, it's my mom.
It's your mother's. Okay, cool tea bucket. That's your mother, right? Hi there.
Hi.
What's your name?
Molly Baines.
Molly?
Baines.
Molly Baines with the tea bucket, a 23 tea bucket.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's cool looking.
Thank you.
Very nice. 2.4 setup, the tunnel rims, beautifully polished exhaust here. What cubic inch is the motor?
350.
350 Chevrolet.
Yes, sir.
And the transmission?
400 turbo.
Yeah, okay. Well, that makes for a cool hot rod, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fast.
Very fast.
Yes.
Well, you know it's got to be fast because, you know, these little bodies, they don't weigh nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like driving a big go-kart.
Yeah, a big go-kart. That's pretty much it, yeah. 'Cause
Yes,
that's
sir.
pretty much all you got, you
Yes,
know?
sir.
You put the top down, the sun's out, go cruising around town in that baby. God.
Absolutely.
Lots of fun, right, Molly?
We have a good time with it. Madison and I like to cruise the town.
Yes, ma'am. I would too.
Well, I'll have to take you for a ride.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome. Wow. Yeah, you know, parades, that's what comes into mind when you got a T-bucket like this.
Yes, sir. My father-in-law actually originally built this, or helped build this car in the 60s, and he's done several parades in this car.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been apart for a while.
Yeah.
We put it back together about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was a family affair. Even the little one was sorting bolts.
You know, I'd never guess it goes back that far. It looks brand new, like a new kit car. But
Yes, sir.
you're saying it was built in the 60s.
Yes, sir, originally.
Wow.
Yes.
Man, fantastic build, beautiful ride. Mr. Kwik, how are you, sir?
Good, good. Good to be here today, yeah.
All right, man. Hey, you're an old drag racer, right?
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
Love drag racing, now love show cars.
Yeah. Guess what happens to drag racers after they...
Old drag racers never die, they start showing show cars.
Yep, they start showing them.
That's right.
Man, what a build here.
Thank you,
Wow.
thank you.
So what does it take to build something like this, man? You get in your garage, a bunch of parts left over from your hot rods.
That's right.
That's awesome, man. This thing's fantastic.
Thank you, thank you.
Man, I was looking at the bed on the back of this thing, and I'm going, far out, man.
Yeah.
That's just cool.
Yep, yep.
So I'd imagine you built every square inch of it.
Every bit of it.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a 2x3 square tubing, 120 wall tubing.
Okay.
Everything's, all the jumps are gusseted with diamond plated.
Mm-hmm.
All the wiring for the front comes through the frame. All the wiring for the back goes through the frame.
Yeah.
There's no wires exposed up under the truck.
So, you know, a lot of the old school builders, they don't even use a jig when they're setting their frames up. Now how'd you set this one up? Did you got something like that?
A friend of mine had a flat surface plate.
Yeah.
And I squared it all up on that and just welded it together.
Okay.
I've done a bunch of them in the past that way.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of the other stuff we've done in the past, we had jigs and fixtures.
Right.
You know,
right.
but
yeah.
you know, with a square tube, it's a little more forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you've built as many as I've built.
Right. Okay.
Drag cars
Man.
and whatnot. Yeah.
Wow. The experience, the knowledge. There you go. You can turn something like this out.
Yep.
That's cool. So it's a 34 cab.
It's a 34 cab. That's what it's modeled after, is a 34, but it's an extra cab. They didn't make an extra cab in 1934.
Yes.
But these things were made for 5 foot tall, 130-pound guys.
Right.
You can see I'm not that.
Wait a minute. Let's look at the side of it here. Did you extend the cab yourself?
No, I bought the cab that away from a place.
Okay, so there's a company out there stretching these cabs and extending them, right?
Yeah, nobody wants to build it much. You know, they don't. You got to have a little, mind's eye here to build something like this. You know. Yeah. You know, the cars and different trucks and all that stuff. You know, it's a little more conventional. Mm-hmm. You know, but you got to have a little imagination to do something like this.
Oh yeah, you left your headroom there. That's not a chopped top.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you want to see the red lights, that's what you got to do.
Oh yeah, yeah. This thing's a lot of fun to drive right here.
Yeah, you got it channeled down to where it's sitting.
Yeah,
low.
it's channeled over the frame.
Yeah.
Basically, no inches. Exactly.
Yeah.
I just sort of set it up in the floor there, and I said, yeah, that looks good right there.
Looks good. Go with it.
Let's do that.
And what you got for a power plant here?
This is started out as a 350. This is a 396 small block. It's bored 30 over with a 3 7/8 stroke.
Gotcha.
It's a late model. It's a 2000 model one-piece seal hydraulic roller motor.
Wow.
It makes about 550 horsepower. This thing will get you attention.
Yeah, so it ain't just for show, is it?
No,
it'll go.
Now, somebody wants to jump on this, they might ought to look twice.
Yeah, big old fat tires in the rear. You got your traction going on there.
Yeah, this thing will stick and get it.
Oh boy, what kind of transmission you got?
This has got a 700R. It's a built 700R. It's got the H3 Hummer planetaries in it.
Okay.
It's got a 2800 stall converter, but it'll still lock up. This thing will run 70 miles an hour at about 1900 RPMs on the expressway.
Wow.
It's real cool, really smooth. I mean, it's just smooth as you could ask for on an expressway.
And what rear end you got under it?
It's got a 12-bolt Camaro style rear end.
Okay.
what started this whole project, a friend of mine was throwing these wheels away, and I said, I can make a car fit them.
Yeah, I guess so. You sure did.
These are spindle mounts up here, no lug nuts.
Oh yeah, how about that? Okay.
So I modified a Pinto style front end. It's got Monte Carlo spindles, which everything 68 to 72 Chevrolet had this spindle, but it's got the Monte Carlo steering arm. It's got a 96 Corvette power steering rack on it.
Man, these drag racers, these old school builders, man, you just put anything together and make it work, right?
Oh yeah. Find a bunch of parts in a pile there, and we'll make something out of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what you did.
Oh yeah.
And it's done nicely too.
It's got aluminum drive shaft in it, cuts down on the vibration.
Okay.
It's a 373 positive traction, got a brute force positive unit, Moroso unit in the back.
Wow. And hey, what did you use for the bed here?
This is some really complicated to find wood. You can only find it at a Home Depot store.
Really? Yeah, let's check it out, man. So you just fit and finished it, man, and it looks great on that black.
Oh yeah, this is a oak I got at Home Depot for various stuff.
Yep.
And
that's cool. You can get your luggage in there, man.
Oh yeah, that's about it.
And the bow tie rear end here.
Oh yeah, the bow tie. Gotta have the bow tie.
You put the bow tie right on the back of it, man. Put the tag on it, some tail lights. That's cool. The whole rear end is nothing but a bow tie. Hey, Michael, your son over there is polishing on your ride. You got it made, dude. You don't have to touch it. He does all the work.
Yeah,
right?
he makes it a lot easier for me. He definitely does.
So you're one of them guys that swaps, trades, buys, and sells hot rods, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So maybe you can find me one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right here.
Right here.
That's it.
So you're telling me you want to swap my wagon for this?
I'll
do an even swap.
We'll talk later.
Throw keys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kevin, and you're watching Hot Rod Madness.
Bob, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, sir. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great, man.
Great, glad to hear it.
Fantastic. Out here at the car show in Monroe, Georgia.
Having fun.
Hey, man. How long have you had your Rambler?
We've had it about 15 years now.
15 years, yeah. Man, what happened to the original motor in this thing?
Well, what happened, we've got to the point where we could not find parts for it anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I believe it, man. Yeah. Them old Ramblers, man, they hard to come by, really.
Yeah. It was extremely difficult. I mean, we had it running for about probably a good 7 years when it finally gave out on us. We couldn't do anything with it anymore, even after rebuilding it.
Yep. Gonna say goodbye to the old and in with the new.
Yeah, a friend of mine gave us that engine, so we made it fit.
So, yeah, did you have to redo your motor mounts and all that?
Yes, sir. I had a friend out west in Reno, Nevada, help with the motor mounts and everything else on it.
Okay.
And help me put it together.
Hey, man, I'm guessing it runs great with that in there, right?
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It's a stock engine in there.
Seems like it fits well.
Yes, it does. It took a little bit. We had to put it in and out, take it in and out probably 8-10 times to get it right.
Sure. You got to mock it up first before you put it in, right? Always like that. Yeah, but you kept the old body looking good, man. What year is it?
1964.
64.
It's an American 330.
Okay.
Basically, what it was a working man's car.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a two-door, though.
Yes, it is.
Not the family hauler. It's the two-door sedan.
Right, yeah.
And I'd imagine, I don't know, you don't see a lot of two-doors around. So do you know how many they made, period?
With this particular one, they made 15,000, a little over 15,000.
Yeah. See, that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it.
1964, yeah.
You don't see the two-doors very often at all.
No, very, very seldom. Yeah. And they had one option, which wasn't in this vehicle when we bought it, where the seats could lay down completely and make a bed.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably great for dates in high school, but...
And you say they only had one option.
Right. That was it, really,
Yeah.
basically. You know, it came with a standard 6-cylinder engine. And
And I bet it ran great for years.
Oh, it was a little single-barrel carburetor on there. It ran for
Yeah, but I could imagine, Bob, when you got the small block put in it, though, man, you was happy. You got power now, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. You ever put your foot in it, Bob?
No, because I still have the original rear end in it. Well, I've stepped in stuff a lot of times.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Bob. Hey, man, I appreciate you showing your Rambler here on Hot Rod Madness.
My name is Gavin, and you're watching Hot Rod Madness, my dude.
Jake, how are you, man?
Good. How you doing, man?
Right. Man, I'm looking for the very unique and odd vehicles, you know, that I can find, and
I'm your man.
You got one, man. Look at this thing. Hey, you reckon Hitler went cruising around in something like this?
Some of his Waffen SS guys did, so that's for sure.
Probably so. It's got Nazi stamped all over it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the genuine article. I imported it from Austria last year, and the fella that I got it from had spent a few decades restoring it. Wow. So, and it's very proper in every way. There's a few new parts on it, but things like the headlight covers are original, the shovel's original. All the wheels are matching numbers, matching numbers engine even. Transmission's not matching numbers, but everything else is. So, and then like the axle beam has a bullet hole that's been patched up and some stuff like that. So
yeah, so this thing saw some combat, didn't it?
Absolutely. It was delivered to the Waffen SS in occupied Poland about 2 weeks before D-Day.
Really?
And then after that, of course, they had to kind of regroup and get all their stuff kind of moved to the other front after Normandy. So kind of lost track of what happened to it after that. But I have all the documented certificates from Volkswagen, from a museum stating that. And I even have the original title for it, believe it or not. So.
Wow. Oh, that's something you probably can't sell. Now, you're going to have to keep this for
yeah, I'll keep this one. I've got a lot of unique stuff, and I usually will keep one for a while and sell it, but this one I'm going to keep around for a while.
Yeah,
so
if you keep it long enough, you know, one day somebody with a big museum is going to come up to you and, hey, man, you need to put this thing in the museum, you know?
Yeah, it's happened before. This one, I mean, I drove it here, so people are like, how'd you get this thing here? Well, I drove it here, so, you know, it's it goes about 45 miles an hour. It says maximum speed 70 kilometers an hour. That's about it. It's happy about that, but it drives good, considering that it has a non-synchro mesh transmission, like a tractor pretty much.
Wow.
It has cable-actuated brakes, not even hydraulics. It's very bare bones. It has nothing that it doesn't need, so.
Yeah, that's bare bones, man. Bare bones military stuff from the war way back when, man. I could imagine who's all set in it and used it, you know. This is an interesting question. How you go about rescuing it from that era and bringing it to the United States back then?
Well, it only came into the U.S. last year, so I actually imported it. So the best I can tell, it was captured. It ended up in Austria. I don't know exactly when that was, but the person that I got it from had it for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
And he spent many decades restoring it. Even simple little things like the gear shift knob and stuff like that are all original KDF, as it's known, things. So getting original parts for original restorations, a lot different than just going to buy some new stuff. You know, there's some reproduction items on it because you can't find originals, but it's very few. And there's not many people reproducing stuff for it. So basically, after he had it for all those years, he decided to sell it. He actually sold another one like it that did not have war history. I found out about that one. I missed the deal on it. He felt bad for me and sold me this one with war history, which I would rather have, obviously. But then I imported it from Tyrol, Austria, and got it down to the port in Amsterdam. And put it aboard a ship, and I do this a lot. It's my hobby, finding weird stuff overseas and going through all the steps to get it here. So it took about 6 months to get it from Austria to the port here in Jacksonville, actually in Charleston, South Carolina, and then I brought it home. So
well, hey, as long as you're talking about that kind of stuff, look, man, next time you get something rare and unique like that, call me. We'll come do a little thing.
You just need to come to my place. I'm about 10 miles from here, and I have scout cars, armored stuff. I've got stuff with cannons on it. You know,
interesting.
I got weird stuff. A lot of Volkswagen stuff, some Porsches, some British Army stuff, a Fox, a Ferret, some of those vehicles.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Nothing sounds like that in my place.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Hot rod.
That's too normal, man. I got to have this weird stuff.
Matt, how are you, man?
Good, you, sir?
I'm good.
Doing all right, you?
Oh, man, look at this. That's cool. You got zoomies poking right out the side. What year is it? 31?
1931.
Model A pickup. Ah, yeah, these things make for great rat rods, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that you do consider it a rat rod? Or is that?
I consider it a rat rod. Some people may not, but I mean.
Some people find it offensive when you say, hey, that's a cool rat rod. What?
Yeah, I put it together like rat rods are supposed to be.
All right.
Used parts and everything I can find.
All right. You do this in your backyard, Matt?
I did it in the garage.
Yeah.
Did it at the house.
Okay. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I guess, nowadays when you're looking for parts, it's not too hard to find the parts, I guess, because a lot of folks do still use the big old buckets for headlights here. You got some funky looking parking lights. Where'd those come off of?
I believe they came off a Packard, an old Packard.
Okay. Yeah, so where do you find your parts, man?
Usually I just source everything through Napa. I mean, everything's just put together. It's got a Ford Ranger engine in it, Chevy brakes, Chevy rear end.
All right.
And then everything else I just make work.
Yeah, but you got to be going through some junkyards and stuff to find the old nostalgia parts, right?
Yeah. Most of the junkyards, like around Auburn, Winder, stuff like that, I just go through, and if something stands out, then I'll pick it out and see if I can make it work.
All right, there you have it, viewers. Right here in Georgia, you can go find the parts and pieces in the yards. That's cool, man. Love the setup and all. I guess that's A model front end and.
It's actually just a Speedway front end.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just like a Chevy conversion.
Okay.
I guess they call it a suicide spring.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's just a Speedway front end. It ain't the actual front end that came on it.
Yeah, I'd imagine Speedway has a lot of stuff like that you can use and build these little hot rods up like that. That's cool. Hey, Papa Hood, let's see that little motor, man. In these lightweight little cars and cabs and things, you don't need big horsepower to get around the street. Look at that. There you go. Yeah. Did you make the Zoomy header?
Yeah, I made the Zoomy header,
Yeah.
and it's still fuel injected. Still gets 28 miles a gallon.
Yep.
It fires up every time I hit the key.
Man, that's the beauty of these things, man.
That's
You
the
can
thing I
fuel
love about
inject them nowadays and just drive the heck out of them and enjoy them.
I drive it to California right
That's
now.
neat. Very neat. Love it. Ooh, yeah. You can make them so dependable, man, and just cruise them. That's good.
Yeah, it had the Ranger engine laying around, so that's why we threw it in.
Okay.
It had that, transmission, everything.
Transmission and everything. So what, 4-speed, 5-speed?
5-speed.
Yeah. And that's a, looks like an old musket rifle for a shifter.
Shotgun. Just a 12-gauge shotgun, sawed off.
Okay. Got you. That's pretty neat. Always interesting to see what people put in these things, man.
Yeah, me and my wife took it apart and just rebuilt it in the garage.
All right. Brian, how are you, man?
Fine.
All right. 51 Chevy, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's take a look at it, buddy. Wow, purple flames, silver. Yeah, looks good, man.
I appreciate it.
Nah, you don't have no hood springs either, man, like a lot of them. You get the prop out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, buddy. Run it up to the car show.
Yes, sir.
Are you a local around here?
Covington.
Yeah, okay. Covington, Georgia. All right. Cool, man. What you got, 350?
383.
383. Little stroker motor, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Eldebrock stuff all over it. Polished AC unit, polished parts. Man, that's a fun cruiser.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yep, I had one myself.
We drive it to Tennessee to the rod runs most years.
Yep. That's the idea, man. Cool. You can set these things up a lot of different ways. But underneath the paint and everything, a lot of them are just the same body, right?
Yes, sir.
What styling back then, huh?
Yes, sir.
The old 50s. Mark, how are you, man?
Hey, Tim. How are you? Good to see you, man.
Good, man. Looking at some more hot rods here in Monroe.
Quite a few of them today.
Quite a few of them. I see some interesting stuff out here, Mark. And when you walk by one of these anglers, man, you got to ask questions. What kind of running gear do they put in them, nowadays? Because you don't see a whole lot of them. So what you got in yours?
This is a 355 Chevrolet with a Power Glide by Sid Neal with a Ford 9-inch.
That's only a 2-speed, right?
2-speed. Low and fast.
Yeah. So you hit second one good time, man, and
it's
you're
gone. It's gone.
So if you put the right gear ratio behind a 2-speed, them things will wind up forever, right?
Correct.
I mean,
fast in a quarter mile.
Yeah. And you put one on the street, man. I can imagine the fun you have with it.
It's a lot of fun on the street. Yeah, you get a lot of looks, and because there aren't many of them left.
Yep.
They've been pretty much chopped up over the years. They were, a drag car in the 60s. And
yes, sir. Yep, and you put one on the street, man.
Yeah, my family had one in 1966, ran at the Summer Nationals.
Okay.
Ran 972 1/4 at 148 mile an hour, which was 2/10 off the national record at that time.
Yeah, see, I could imagine, because the little cars don't weigh much at all.
No, that car weighs 2,100 pounds.
Yeah, see. Anytime you put a rear end under it, you got to cut it down pretty much, right?
It's narrow.
Yeah,
correct.
because it's so narrow in the rear.
Yeah.
The
car is only 49 inches at its widest point.
See, yeah. Does that make it top heavy? Does it have body roll or anything?
No, but it's tough to keep going straight because it's only got a 94-inch wheelbase.
Yeah.
So when it starts going sideways,
Yes,
if you're not going straight, you better get out of it.
If you're on the interstate running 70 and 80, man, a good gust of wind, man, might take you off the road.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Yeah.
That's such a cool car, though. The body styling and all the lines, the trim. Oh, man.
Thanks for watching, and check back soon for more Hot Rod Madness.